You want everyone to know about. Host your own radio show. Team up with the area's best radio professionals and let them make you sound like you should be on NBC. KCAA NBC Radio, that is. KCAA produces more than 50 local programs each week on subjects ranging from business and sports to political talk, vegan diets, or even marijuana-related issues. We don't just broadcast on the radio, we broadcast to the world. Online, on TV, on social media, on Facebook. You'll be all over. Imagine what your friends will say. And KCAA reaches over 5 million people on 3 radio stations. Join the staff on 1050 AM, 102.3 FM, and 106.5 FM. NBC Radio. Jump on the KCAA Express. Call 909-793-1065. That's 909-793-1065 and get ready to transmit.
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Take a walk on the wild side, where the birds and the bees survive. Right before me, my newfound hippie side once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now, make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Would your children lie to see Mother Nature's side?
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Welcome, everyone. This is Smart Health Talk radio show. I'm your host, Elaine McFadden, a registered dietitian with a master's in public health. So we kind of got our feelers out into just about everything that affects your health, which includes the environment and pesticides, the food you eat, the kind of health care you get, the kind of things that you're doing at home, the kind of over-the-counter meds that you take, the exercise that you're doing. I mean, there are so many things involved. Mainly what you're putting in your mouth. That's a pretty big one right there. And as a dietitian, I've really studied what can actually save lives, what can affect health with the greatest capacity for positive change, so that you can take all those mistakes you made and all that bad living that you did for years, and you could actually start reversing that and start to repair your body and get healthier and stronger. So even though you've had many years of bad living, there's good news. You know, your body can repair itself, especially the liver has a huge capacity. And what are some of the things that can actually hurt our liver? And what are some of the things that we're doing that we don't even realize are having a huge effect on our body? Well, let's start with Gatorade. And Gatorade, how many people out there have a bottle of Gatorade in their hand right now? Or sitting next to them, or plan to have one sometime during the day? Well, did you know that the polypropylene that is in it's called polypropylene glycol, and you might recognize the name as an active ingredient in antifreeze. Well, that's actually used in Gatorade, and it's used in this big bottle of solution that I have here that is used for people pre-colonoscopy. This is to get you all cleaned out, so when the guy takes his endoscope and sticks it where the sun don't shine, then it's not, there's clear viewing, okay? Nothing in the way there. So they use the main ingredient to clean out your intestine before a colonoscopy is polypropylene glycol. Yeah, that same thing that's in Gatorade is what the colonoscopy doctor uses to clean you out. So what does that say? Well, it says that all these people are drinking Gatorade. It has this chemical in there that actually breaks down into antifreeze in your liver, which can't be too good for your liver either, or the rest of your body. But we have it breaking down into antifreeze, and it's forcing our body to have bowel movements. This is not a good thing. It's kind of like when you get hooked on laxatives and you can't go to the bathroom without the laxatives. Well, this is what is happening with all these people drinking Gatorade. They've become dependent on Gatorade for their body to work the way it should all on its own. And this is very, very dangerous. Plus the fact that this chemical is like really good at killing all that good bacteria in your gut. You know that the average person is supposed to have 4 pounds of bacteria. We actually have 2 bacteria for every human cell. So we're made more of bacteria than we are of human cells. And it's really incredible. And yet we spend all this time during the day putting things in our body that destroy that bacteria that's such a big part of us. Now, also, okay, we said, okay, this polypropylene glycol is used as a laxative. Well, guess what? It's used in laxatives over the counter, like Miralax, Dulcolax. These different laxative products have polypropylene glycol in it. That's how it works. The same thing that's in your Gatorade. And there's some warnings that peripheral sensomotor neuropathy associated with those. Now, any kind of neuropathy scares the heck out of me, because neuropathy equals unbelievable pain, like excruciating pain. Because when you have nerve damage, you then have pain, which I know you're like, wait a minute, but the nerves, no. It's actually more painful when you have nerve damage than when you have healthy nerves. And that's why if you watch commercials, they're advertising drugs for it. Heck yeah, and one that they like to advertise for fibromyalgia that I think I mentioned last week, salvia, is actually causing homicidal ideations. In other words, homicidal thoughts. I'm just going over a couple of drugs here, and look at what we're finding out. Also, Miralax, pediatricians are recommending it to parents. It was never approved for children. Never. It can cause severe reactions. I mean, I could get into a long list of all of the negative effects of this, but there's actually something that's happening in the children's minds, and also with people. They're getting very angry. It's affecting your personality, your mood, and especially in children, changing them. Yeah, this friggin' laxative, Miralax, it's doing that. And then this drug Sevilla, I mean, it's like, it scared the heck out of me reading about it, but, you know, I don't have fibromyalgia. I don't have to suffer through that pain every day, so I'm not one to judge, but it's something that I would like to try to live without. And we're actually running low on many drugs. A popular blood pressure drug was found to have a cancer-causing substance in it. What did I just say last week? I just said this is a terrible state when all of us are dependent on these drugs to live every single day, especially when if we did the work and took care of our body and our health, we wouldn't even need them. We wouldn't have to be dependent on them. We could be free of that. And I just highly encourage people to think about getting off of these things that are affecting our body in such a negative way. Another huge, huge part of the problem with obesity and so many of the diseases that people get today are pesticides. And we have someone that's what they did for 5 years, was spray pesticide every single day. And the more and more I'm learning about it, and my own personal experience with someone tenting their house is like 3 times in 1 year, exposing me to a chemical weapon. That's right. When you see them tenting a house and Vicane, know that that is a chemical weapon. It's the more concentrated ones are called sarin gas, which kills you in 1 to 10 minutes. That's why when we see chemical, they say this is a chemical attack, and people aren't dropping dead right in front of our eyes. It's not sarin gas. I'll tell you that. That stuff, it's like no time, you're dead. And yet people are allowed to use this. Oh yeah, that tent is perfectly sealed. None of that gets out. Well, it got out, and it pretty much destroyed the plants in my entire yard. I have all the documentation. I try to talk to the county Department of Agriculture, and they're trying to tell me, oh, because this is lighter than air, there's no way, that could happen. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You're really going to say that to me? Because that is magical, mystical talk right there. Because gas in the air with physics actually creates chaos. It is swirling around. It is mixing in. It is bumping into electrons. It's going all different kinds of ways. No way they can say every single drop of that gas, which is leaking out, every single different angle of that house is going straight up in the air and not into my yard, when I've got obvious Vicane damage. And I am like really pissed. I couldn't even run my nursery anymore. My monarchs had no healthy leaves to eat. I had to pull off literally thousands of leaves. I mean, this is just beyond me that they are getting away with this, exposing people 3 times in 1 year. So I have been trying to make phone calls about this. First of all, we have to ask people, please don't use it. Also, please, will you tell your landscaper not to use pesticides? It's a win-win. First of all, you're not exposed. Second, he's not exposed. Your family's not exposed. Their family isn't exposed. And most of these people are not certified in pesticides. When we talk to Tiffany Anderson, who's coming up here, she will explain to you that, going out and spraying these pesticides, you have to have training. You have to have continuing education credits every 2 years, which costs a few $100s. Do you have to ask yourself, do you think your landscaper is trained in pesticide use? Do they go every 2 years for continuing education credits? Otherwise, they could be mixing that stuff up in the wrong proportion, that you are being exposed to a near lethal dose or something sick that made you sick. And you may get sick and not even realize that you have an acute pesticide poisoning. The doctors aren't even trained to recognize it. So my advice is stay the heck away from it. Keep it out of your life. Keep it from around your home. And let's get our cities to stop spraying our parks and our schools with these pesticides. When we have alternatives, we are not dependent on this stuff. Do not make them let you believe that, because they will try to trick you into that. Just like what I was told, that this gas is like, oh, it's lighter than air, so it goes up, so there's no way it could go in your yard. Come on, just think about it, people. They do this to make people go away and give up. But I'm filing a formal complaint. And those of you with Gatorade out there that like antifreeze in your liver and like destroying your good bacteria and want, that Gatorade to be responsible for you being able to go to the bathroom instead of your own body, I think that is pretty sick. And that's pretty sad also at the same time, that that's the way people are. You have a problem. You need to wean off of that. I recommend Organic India Cleansing Tea. I tell you, that stuff, it cleans your kidneys, it cleans your liver. You may feel a little nauseous at the beginning because it's so much stuff is coming out. You got to drink a lot of water, but just maybe do it every other day. To start off, not every day or multiple times per day, and you have to ease into it. But Organic India Cleansing Tea. And Tiffany Anderson, who we're about to talk to, she also had to go through a major cleansing and healing to even be able to try and recover from all the pesticides and accidents and everything that she was exposed to working as a pesticide applicator for the San Joaquin Vector Control Department, which, you probably have not even heard of a vector control department. We very rarely hear them. We usually hear them in regards to mosquitoes or some sort of other medfly or insect infestation, which, there's I kind of have different feelings. First of all, many of these things could be avoided also, and we don't even need pesticides. But just, how we're using some of these pesticides and how the vector department conducts business can be shocking and extremely disturbing. And what some of the things that Tiffany has told us so far have been mind-blowing. But we have to know this stuff, people. We've got to absorb it. We have to accept it, because this is how we make change for the better. Once we accept that these things are really happening, then we can start to move forward towards changing it. And please, those of you, one of the reasons we're so upset about pesticide use is we've been trying to bring the monarch butterflies back. We've actually have 150 chrysalis. That means butterflies ready to hatch in our garage right now. I mean, we had hungry caterpillar. You try and feed 150 hungry caterpillars at one time. I was taking out pot after pot, but we're going to be releasing those. We want to invite people to participate in our release of these butterflies. Please go to bluemonarchproject.com, info@bluemonarchproject.com, or elaine@smarthealthtalk.com, and let me know you're interested and participate in our effort with the monarchs and releasing the monarchs to be free and fly around and hopefully not get sprayed with pesticide by someone spraying a weed in their yard, for example. Please tell your landscapers no pesticide. That would be so huge if everyone just did that. And so we have one of our little sick butterflies here. Almost all of them were healthy. We had a few that were not. This one right here, unfortunately, will never fly. But that's okay, because we're going to still take care of it. So he's our little sick one. And so that's what we try to prevent with our program, and we've been pretty successful at preventing most of the disease that happen with monarch butterflies. Okay, let's get to Tiffany, and let's start getting into what's going on down at the vector department, because we all have to know that, because those people come and spray our yard. That's right, and they're spraying all around our city, and we don't even know it. But we're going to find out what's going on here, because we got Tiffany to give us the inside scoop. Tiffany Anderson, welcome to Smart Health Talk. Woohoo!
Hi, Elaine. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm excited. I'm just sitting here trying to hold my breath. I just want to keep cutting in. I got all my documents ready. And today we were going to talk about pesticides and chemicals. Was that what we were going to talk about?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I saw a soundbite on TV this week for West Nile virus, and what they're doing is they're promoting West Nile virus. Saying that there were some heavy areas with West Nile virus, which would mean that they would need to spray. And what happens is when they campaign heavy for West Nile virus, that allows them to apply for special emergency funding. So they're already funded with state and tax county assessments, 2 assessments to be exact. But when they start getting into the state of emergency, then they start filing for federal emergency funding. And it's my hope this year, kind of one of my goals is to get their federal funding stopped. I if you can go on their website and you can look for each county, and they will show you the areas where West Nile was prevalent. And I can prove every time that they had a West Nile emergency that they were understaffed, that they were mismanaging, that they were not, in fact, using the resources that they had to actually prevent West Nile, and that they are actually creating a state of emergency. So it's kind of my own personal goal and campaign to bring that to light and bring that to the public, because I for one am really tired of being ripped off by the government, for taxes, and then to have, I mean, this is criminal at this point. It's a crime, and so
it's
yes.
corporate welfare. It's stealing from taxpayers for their own personal benefit. It's like lying. It's pretty much it's lying.
It's a crime. It's a crime. They're committing a crime, and they are lying. Yes, and they're conspiring. But
to steal money.
They are stealing, and not only that, they are exposing. Let me ask you, how many mosquito technicians have you heard of that have come down with West Nile virus? If in all these years of this state of emergency that we've had with this epidemic, how many pesticide applicators, the ones that go out in the field every day and are working in those areas where the West Nile is, how many have had West Nile virus?
Well, let's see. The last time I had checked, last year, a whole 63 people died of
Wait
West
a minute.
Nile.
No, that's not what I'm saying. How many pesticide applicators that work for mosquito and vector control?
Well, out of those 63 people that died, I doubt that any of them were pesticide applicators.
I'm going to go with none. So no pesticide applicators. The people who work in the areas that go on the front lines every day, they are not getting West Nile. And I will also tell you that we're not tested for it. I was really sick. I was having pesticide symptoms when West Nile was prevalent, and so I went to my doctor. They did test me. My own doctor tested me once for West Nile, but she said that the test was very expensive. And so I started donating blood, and that was how I would get tested for West Nile. But even if a pesticide applicator were to come down with West Nile, their work comp would deny it anyway, because I've had pesticide poisoning and they've denied my pesticide claims. So it's just it's fraud. It's a fraudulent agency. But let me get down to the pesticide safety training and training records. So I have my training records here. I'm going to read down the column of what we need to know, and then I'm also going to go down the column of the chemicals. And so we are required to know safety procedures of pouring, lifting, opening, operating equipment, etc. We're supposed to know and wear protective clothing and equipment, coveralls, gloves, goggles, boots, respirators, apron, etc. Now, there's this section here. It says, report immediately symptoms of poisoning. Pinpoint pupils, nausea, shortness of breath, dizziness, headache, blurred, and vision. We always ignored that one. That box is never checked. Our employer never complies with that. In fact, they intentionally ignore that one. So wash hands and arms with soap and water before eating, drinking, smoking, and going to the restroom. We are to wash completely at the end of the workday and change into clean clothing. I will tell you that that our uniforms go to a uniform company, and this uniform company they should be aware that my employer is using chemicals that are more toxic than they report to that company who's washing the clothes and to the public at large. So then it says, wear clean work clothes daily, emergency medical information, name, address, phone number of clinic, physician, or hospital emergency room, and where information is located. So that's something that they don't do. Medical supervision. This is the one that you're gonna really like. Required when working more than 30 hours in 30 days with carbamates, organophosphates, with danger or warning on the label. Again, they do not comply with that. So we are to read the label, signal word, precautions, first aid, the rate of dilution and volume. It tells us how to get rid of the pesticide containers when we're finished with them. We're supposed to triple rinse them. Then drift, confine the spray to the crop. Watch out for people, animals, waterways, or any special hazards. Storage of pesticides can be locked and posted area or with an authorized person watching the cans. And then we're supposed to see Pesticide Safety Information Series 8. So anyone with more interest in what the safety procedures are should look up the Department of Agriculture, Department of Pesticide Regulations, series number 1 through 8. They're very extensive, and there's a lot of laws and rules that are not followed by this agency. So I'm going to start going through now the pesticides. Agnique MMF. Agnique MMF is a pellet that turns into a larvicide, and it also is a pupicide. It's a new pesticide. It was a newer pesticide. It came out in 2011 is when we started using it. We had no training on it, and when it came out, they just said here, and we started using it. Then we have the Alticid 30-day briquettes, the extended 120 briquettes, the 120-day briquettes, the Alticid pellets, and all of those Alticid products, those are the hormone growth regulators. Those are the ones that tweak the hormones. So, like if...
So they're tweaking hormones of the insects, and they can also tweak our hormones.
Our hormones, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, so then we have Aquabac XT. Now, Aquabac is a bacillus. It's a bacteria, and it gets into the gut. So it's a larvicide. We have Golden Bear 1111 and BVA2. Those are both oils, petroleum distillates that we used as a pupicide. So what a pupicide does is when I got into this before, but when the larva gets into about the 3rd stage, almost to the 4th stage, it stops eating. So when it stops eating, the only other way to kill it is to suffocate it. So we would use oils on it. Then there's the Vectobac 12AS Vectobac granules. So the granules they come in 50-pound bags. It's put on like a corn, kind of like a corn grain, and so because the pesticide needs to cohese with something, so otherwise it would sink to the bottom. So the corn helps it come to the surface where the mosquito larva will go up and eat it. So then there's the Vectobac.
Does other things, do other fish and aquatic life that you wouldn't want to kill also eat the corn, and can it hurt them?
Well, I if it's in the water, even if it's not eating it, it's penetrating the skin. It's going through, even if it's not eating it, it's being absorbed.
So for anything else that would be swimming in the water.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, absorption is a route or method of treatment.
Yeah, that's one of the ways that you get it inside of what you're trying to get it inside. It's inhalation. What are the three ways?
It's inhalation, it's absorption, and it's when you eat digestion.
Okay, those are the three ways.
So then you've got your Vectolex products, and your Vectolex, they have a residual. So the Vectobac is a one-time kill. It's a quick kill. When you use the Vectobac within probably 20 minutes, 15 minutes, your target species is gone. It's killed. If you go back. So one of the things they would ask you to do is when you're learning how to use the pesticides, you would spray it, and then you would go back to see if you got a good kill or not. So so the Vectobac is a quick, instant kill. It kills the first instar, which when they start eating, up to the third to the fourth instar sometimes, and it's a quick kill within 20 minutes. Now the Vectolex, it's interesting because it has a 21-day residual. So what happens is the larva eats it, and it feeds. It's like it reproduces the chemical in its gut, and then and so it continues this kill for 21 days. So does that make sense?
Well, so that it's like an active ingredient for killing pretty much everything for 21 days.
I'm not going to go that far because I was killing something very specific, so I saw dead fish at the White Slough facility. I saw dead fish. It's in certain areas, and we can get into those chemicals. I wasn't looking for any other signs of death, if that makes sense. And I actually, I wasn't picking. I'm not going to say that these chemicals don't like the hormone growth regulators. I know they messed with my own hormones. I already told you that story. So I think that whatever the mode of whatever the chemical does to the mosquito, that's what it would do to the human or to any other life form. So the hormone growth regulators are going to affect your hormones. The Vectobacs, or those are bacterias. So those are going to create bacterias. Those will probably get people sick, mess with your gut. So what they do is they mess with the gut. Those are gut bacterias.
And people are having gut problems all the time. So do you think that's something that gets on people's food? Is that ever like happening in places that eventually end up in irrigation water that would end up?
Of course. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's
okay. So then we've got Aquamaster, Garlon 4 Ultra, Roundup Pro Concentrate, In Place, Monterey Crop Oil, and R11. So what we have are, all of those are herbicides. Some are used for waters. Some you spray in water. Some you spray not in water. So like I'll use Roundup and I'll use Garlon as two different examples. Garlon is a Garlon is an herbicide, and it's used for. I believe that Garlon is the one that's used in the water, and it's used with a spreader. So, and one kills stems, is systemic, and the other one is kills the leaves.
Because I talked to a local government agency here, and they, they're like, I hear you, about using the pesticides in the water. But they said they're dealing with invasive species that are growing in there, and that they have to use. And they said something that ends in like lavore at the end of it, aclavore or something like that. I thought I heard you mention that.
I'm not done yet with the chemicals. I've got quite a. I've
Yeah,
got.
go ahead.
You're gonna flip out. I mean, it's just it doesn't stop.
Yeah, go ahead. Go
and
ahead with that. 'Cause
but I did find out some. Okay, so I've been I had a conversation with a park superintendent. He worked for the city of Lodi. He worked for the parks. We were talking about the Roundup. So when we used Roundup, we used In Place as a spreader. So we used them together. Remember, we were talking about the synergist and the
so you're getting
antagonist.
it to spread in the water. Is that it?
It helps. Okay,
Dissipate it. It helps dissipate it into smaller molecules.
So this one says general. Okay, In Place is specially formulated for use with conventional spray mixtures in agriculture, forestry, roadside, industrial, non-crop, turf, golf courses, and ornamentals. In Place is a deposition and retention agent that reduces the number of driftable fines. So I was talking to this park guy, and he was telling me that they were not allowed to use In Place in the parks in Lodi because it was too strong. He said so they had to use it without their knowledge. So what he told me was they used it anyway. They just used it without permission. So when you talked about these things being used in parks, you hit the nail on the head. You're right. So anyway, so
yeah, go ahead and go down the list and let's hear
so
about
those
some
were
of these
the
other ones.
herbicides. So then Evergreen 60-6. That is it's an adulticide that is sprayed out of the back of the trucks, the foggers. Pyranone 25-5. That is mixed, and that one. That is also used on a fogger. Pyranone crop spray. That's sprayed out of the back of our truck. Pyrocide MGK. We use that a lot. Pyranol crop spray. That one is sprayed out of our truck. I don't know. Oh, Pyranone and Pyranol. PYRO.
Does that have the pyrethrum in it?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But
I have to ask you because they just did this thing on ticks on television. And they actually told people to spray pyrethrum on their skin. What do you think about that, Tiffany?
I think that is insane because my central nervous system was under such attack. I was not on any medications prior to working at this agency. I had no medical history at all. Zero. I didn't take medications at all. And I was on such heavy doses of anxiety medications and pain medications. My doctors wanted to put me on morphine because they were saying that my central nervous system was under such attack that the medications was not touching my system. And so what Pyranone, so when you talk about the pyrethrins, one of them is a synthetic form, the other one is natural. So when you're asking me about the Pyranone and the Pyranol, one's synthetic and one's natural. But the pyrethrin's a plant. It's a nerve. What it does to the mosquito is it gets on the mosquito, and the mosquito dies of a heart attack. The mosquito dies from freaking out. It starts freaking out because it attacks its central nervous system, just like it did to me, and it dies from a heart attack. Remember how we were talking about heart attacks being prevalent in my workplace last week?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Wow, I didn't realize that there would be that kind of connection. And they're telling people to prevent getting bitten by a tick to spray that on your skin. I just couldn't believe my words. And then I went on the Beyond Pesticides website, and they had a post about it, and I'm like, okay, so I wasn't thinking, like this was crazy alone. They're saying it's crazy. You're saying it's crazy.
It's insane. It's insane. Okay, I'll tell you what. When I worked for Vector, they didn't have us put this stuff on our skin. They didn't. I mean,
the purpose was to avoid getting it on your skin, right?
What's that?
You would want to avoid getting
Absolutely.
it on your skin.
I mean, do you know
not
how
willfully
long,
put it on there?
Do you know how long of a detox it took years to detox my body? I mean, and I don't know. I mean, here's the reality. We don't even know that my employer. I'm in a work comp claim with them right now. Saying that I was exposed to chemicals, which, I mean, I've named quite a few, and we're not done yet. I'm just getting started. And they're, of course, denying that I was exposed to any of these. I don't know how they can, because I've got my records right here in front of me. But and these are just the ones that they reported. But I have been detoxing my body for years through food, through all the methods that you and I talked about. I mean, a massage a day. Who gets a massage a day?
Well, they want to put cancer warnings in California, and that last court case that we had last week, the judge, after hearing all these scientists testify for months, decided that it should move forward, that the 400 cancer plaintiffs that were affected by Roundup.
Elaine, why have a cancer warning on this side? Because it doesn't matter. Vector is using pesticides that have cancer warnings that are on Prop 65, and they do not have to comply with any of the laws. So just because they're on there doesn't, so what? I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's nobody's enforcing the laws that we have. So why even have them?
I hear your
it's,
point. I hear that makes sense.
Why have policy? I mean, the lawyers are just creating things so that they can have a job. I mean, duh. I mean, these are toxic. Don't use them. You can. I was weeding an area I'm a member of two clubs. I'm getting real excited. I think my coffee kicked in. I'm a member of two clubs. One is Tree Lodi, and the other one is the Lodi Garden Club. And I was pulling weeds around a telephone pole, and first of all, I can see the signs of just like what you were talking about with your milk plants, and I could see all the dead plant life.
Yeah.
I could see where they had sprayed. You could smell the telephone pole. So the telephone company or the electric City Lodi must have the right of way to keep their pole clean, and so they had sprayed it, which perfectly fine with me. That's fine, but I mean, you could smell it and you could see it. It's clear as day. You know it's toxic. You shouldn't be around it. I mean, your body will tell you that immediately. I want to get through the pesticides. So
we have about 8 minutes left. So go,
okay,
Tiffany.
So those are all the pyrethrins, synthetic and man-made, and then we have Suspend. And Suspend, I am sorry to tell you, I am not really sure exactly. I can't tell you right now what the form of it is, but it's a synthetic, and it actually has, I think, like a 14-day residual. All the other ones that I mentioned, all the pyrethrins, they do not have residuals, supposedly. Okay, now let's get into the chemicals that the district uses on their fish and on their fish hatchery that they do not report to the public, that they do not report to their employees. And that would be parasite F, parasite S, potassium permanganate, proline aqua coat, stress coat, Captain liquid copper algicide, green clean granular algicide, copper sulfate crystals, Cutrine Plus, Nutrisorb Aquatic Microbial Blend, Aqua Prep Protein Solution, Alkalinity Regent, Nitrate Tablets, and Nitrate Regent. So that was quite a few right there. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 chemicals that they do not tell the public. They do not have on their permit to operate as a business. Every year they have to request a permit, and on the permit they're required to put every single chemical that they want to use on that, and then the state can say yes or no, and the state can actually they had removed like some of the state had removed the organophosphates for a while, but then all of a sudden I saw NAILID was back on their list. So the state has the right to deny when they apply every year. So
well, I want to make an important point, Tiffany, that you can help clarify to everyone. You mentioned earlier this emergency state that they can declare to get federal money. Well, I've heard of the state growers in the state that some of the growers, like the almond growers, for example, can claim that they have some insect that's causing them problems. And these pesticides that have been shelved because they're so toxic can be pulled out and used in these emergency situations.
You're bringing out a really good topic or subject. And that is, just think about me or the pesticide applicator who unknowingly goes onto somebody's property, because we go on to all these properties, the farmers, we go on to all of the farmers' properties. They could have just done a huge chemical spray because they're allowed to use chemicals that are much harsher than ours. And we're getting an exposure just by walking on their property, and we're not informed that they just sprayed. 2, we could be spraying something that's an antagonist to what they're spraying, creating a bigger problem or a more toxic environment by combining pesticides, the chemicals without knowing. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely, because actually I had one of our top pesticide scientists tell that there was a mitoside that, because of those inert ingredients you explained to us before, Tiffany, that are secret ingredients in there, that those ingredients combined to make DDT. That in the 90s they were like, how come we're all of a sudden picking up DDT in the environment again? And they finally figured out that it was actually these secret ingredients in this mitoside pesticide that were forming DDT. I mean, I'll never forget that story. It just made me realize how scary those inert ingredients are. And the mixing of things, the mixing of these, pesticides together and creating new chemicals that, because in the laboratory, they are only tested like in the laboratory. They are never tested like against by mixing other things together.
Well, again, like I pointed out, we as the pesticide applicators are the test subjects, and what's happening is instead of the agency honestly and transparently protecting the employees and their health, they reprimand the employees. They falsify. Maybe next week we can get into the injuries that my coworkers have sustained. They're very severe injuries, and they've been hidden from the public. They've been paid off with cash.
Well, look at that first case that's just being heard for cancer from Roundup. The man was spraying Roundup and the hose broke, Tiffany, and that
happened to me.
That happened to you too, and he got this rash all over his body, and then the cancer.
Well, what's funny is that we had a 200-gallon tank of Roundup, and we would mix the mix the product out. So it was Roundup and In Place, and we were out. It was me and Scott, and we were out on the islands. He was training me how to treat my duck clubs, and so there's a lot of growth out there of blackberries, and so we mixed up a 200-gallon tank, and the hose busted off of it, and so it's not, they don't want you traveling on the freeways with a 200-gallon tank of chemical. So we just had to dump it all in one spot because the rig was broken. And, Scott and I both had rashes. I don't know if it was from the Roundup. I just assumed that it was from the from formaldehyde because of everything that I read in the formaldehyde. I guess where I was starting to say to you was that there's no way that they can tell me with 100% certainty that I will not have cancer or that I will not have something, later on. They can't give me 100% assurance after sharing with you all of the chemicals that I've handled, and I worked there for 7 years. It wasn't 5. It was 7, from 2004 actually to 2012. So that's 8 years.
Well, yeah, we have 1 minute. So what kind of last comments? Besides, everyone, please go visit BlueMonarchProject.com and SmartHealthTalk.com, and then we have the mosquito name, which I never can remember.
Culex. It's culexpipian.com, and that's a northern house mosquito.
Oh, the northern house mosquito. Okay.
Yeah, I took their name. I thought, you know what, I'm going to use their name that way.
Well, thank you so much, Tiffany, because these chemicals, we're all being exposed to them, and we've never even heard of most of them. So I just want to thank everyone for tuning in to Smart Health Talk, and thank you, Tiffany Anderson, and all you listeners out there, and hope you'll be joining us again next week.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.2.3 FM.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now. Do you have any questions about legal issues? Have you ever been stopped by a police officer and issued a ticket that you're scared to deal with? Have you ever been in trouble with the law and don't know what to do? Do you have a will or power of attorney question? Is your home being foreclosed upon and you don't know where to turn? Maybe you were given a contract that you don't understand. For freedom and a worry-free solution, call for Legal Shield today at 213-245-1305. It's that simple. You will have access to high-quality law firms that will fight for you for less than $1 a day. Peace of mind is just a call away. That's for Legal Shield. Call 213-245-1305 or visit us at nocourt.us. It's justice for all and not justice for some. Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's ABTRUSTCO.com, or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away.
A great radio show may sound like it's easy to make, but if you've ever tried, you know that's not the case. With the time spent engineering, producing, and archiving, you end up losing focus on what really matters, the content of your show. If you put your show on the Gab Radio Network, you'll be able to leave all those technical worries to our staff of highly trained engineers and producers. And all you need to do is have fun and put on a great show. Want to find out more? Send an email over to sales@gabradionetwork.com. That's sales@gabradionetwork.com.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now. Do you have any questions about legal issues? Have you ever been stopped by a police officer and issued a ticket that you're scared to deal with? Have you ever been in trouble with the law and don't know what to do? Do you have a will or power of attorney question? Is your home being foreclosed upon and you don't know where to turn? Maybe you were given a contract that you don't understand. For freedom and a worry-free solution, call for Legal Shield today at 213-245-1305. It's that simple. You will have access to high-quality law firms that will fight for you for less than $1 a day. Peace of mind is just a call away. That's for Legal Shield. Call 213-245-1305.